This event is part of a broader campaign we launched in the spring called Impact '08, Building a Better and Safer World, a campaign to urge the presidential candidates to elevate and strengthen America's investments in global development and diplomacy as key foreign policy tools.
We welcome the Center for U.S. Global Engagement and the Impact '08 program back to Florida, and that the well-being of Florida in terms of our national security interests and our economic prosperity is now inseparably connected to the world around us.
It was about 15 months ago that some of us joined at the headquarters of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C., led by our national co-chairs, former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright, a Democrat, former Secretary of Defense Frank Carlucci, a Republican, who joined together to launch Impact '08. Today's Miami Herald, many of you added your name to a full-page ad that joined in to say Floridians care about building a better, safer world.
The President needs to make investing in global development and diplomacy a priority. We all should be asking our presidential candidates in both parties to seize this opportunity.
I believe that it is our obligation, to let candidates know where we stand on the various issues, particularly international development and diplomacy. We can agree that whether Senator Obama or Senator McCain is elected, we must elevate and strengthen our non-military tools for global engagement.
It's a terrible irony that at a time of globalization, where our dependence on other countries increases daily, what we tell of the world beyond U.S. borders decreases daily. That's why something like this organization is just so important to bring awareness that we are interconnected and the world is going to come to our doorstep.
The next administration needs to rebuild USAID and give it the leverage that it needs. We need to fund an adequate foreign diplomacy.
We are a generous and a good nation. We have a lot that we give. And it is our giving that also makes this world a better and a freer world. I saw the malaria programs, the AIDS programs that were paramount in this administration to improve the lives of people who are needy around this world, particularly in Africa.
But the key to Afghanistan is we got to be there for 25 years with an international set of partners, NATO. We got to engage Pakistan, engage the Iranians. That's the challenge. So we got to tell the American people, be patient. Right now it's $2.4 billion a month in Afghanistan. We need bipartisan support for long-term engagement.
A tenuous government in Afghanistan that is doing the right things, we have a chance for success. It will take decades. Foreign aid is always a slow water tap. It never quickly solves anything. It's an important slow water tap that turns things around.
The next administration has to build USAID, build the public health sector. I don't think we have even close to the resources involved in this effort that we should.
Senator Obama has said doubling the aid to $50 billion. Is that enough to open, and will this really make a change if the U.S. increases aid around the world?
It depends on where it's spent and how it's spent. I look at what's happened with Egypt and Israel as an example, where Egypt is one of the largest recipients of U.S. foreign aid. Of course, Israel is too. That money, enough of a percentage, has brought about sufficient stability in Egypt that Israel and Egypt, thankfully, have a cold peace. Foreign aid has been one of the things that help make that happen.
If we can spend money in diplomacy and economic creation and engagement, and public diplomacy doesn't mean cheap videos done in State Department. It means getting their young people here to University of Florida to study journalism. You know, you spend $50,000 on some kid's education, you get a lot more out of it than 2 smart bombs. You don't get to choose to do one or the other. You've got to have military power, but we've got to put resources behind these other elements of international engagement.